How to defeat the enemy. We're going to talk about that, but maybe not in the way you're accustomed to hearing about. We're not going to be talking about return to centers. We're not going to be talking about how you can spiritually cleanse your energy. We're not even going to be talking about energetic boundaries. Quite the opposite. We're going to move into a territory that transcends boundaries. And we're going to dive into the heart of true alchemy here. This is something that came through very inspired, and I know I need to speak to it. There's so much talk about alchemy work that people tend to focus more from the angle of people who are casting spells or people who are energy harvesting, things along these lines. But there's not a lot of talk about how you actually free yourself from the wheel of karma when it comes to taking on this kind of energy. Even if there are people that are trying to manipulate your energy in such a way, there's different ways to get to the other side of something. And there's also a way that you can step into your empowerment to understand your role in the energy that you take on. And I wanted to dive into this and actually put together a special video where we're going to do a reading here. We're going to look into a few areas related to coming into that place of transcending those lower vibrational energies, coming to a place where we can truly let go of our attachment to taking it on, which is something that a lot of people don't look at. The ways that it's more comfortable to sort of blame an outside force than take full accountability for the state of your life and the state of your personal well-being. And we're going to really look at how we can overcome the enemy in the most empowered way that actually contributes something of great value, in that it helps not only us transcend these difficulties, but the collective as well, just to raise the frequency to a whole other level. And this is the true power of the alchemists, okay? It's really easy for somebody to go tit for tat. It's really easy for somebody to get embroiled in a drama and start throwing energy another person's way. It's really easy to go and hex somebody, but it takes somebody who's truly mastered themselves to be able to go beyond any kind of reactionary measures like that and instead stand in an empowered place that can actually transmute the energy and make it a source of healing, not only for oneself, but the collective as a whole, and elevate the energy as a whole. So it's not for the lily livered, okay? You can't be a, scared person to step into this. And I have to say, a lot of what's sort of put out there, even within the spiritual community, about the way to handle these issues is also very much akin to fear mongering. There's not much difference. I haven't seen a lot of empowering approaches. And so that's why I wanted to bring this in, because the true role of the alchemist is to constantly be purifying themselves and elevating their energy to the next level. And that requires us to look at ourselves in the mirror and do some real deep reflection. And sometimes that's a very uncomfortable process. If you know how deep it can go, you know how you have to dive into your shadow, you have to bump up against a lot of ugly, and you have to find a way to love that part of you back into the light. It's not the easiest work, and it's not something that can really be taken up by cowards, okay? So this is something you have to be prepared for here. But after I do the read, I have included a segment where I do a smoke cleansing. It's without words, okay? And then it goes into a meditative process where I'll also be bringing in Reiki to support it. And we'll go through Tonglen. It will be an act of really unsnaring yourself from the enemy's trap, which is to get embroiled in this mutual exchange of energy on a very low level, all right? There's a way that you can take that energy and you can transmute it, and it brings healing. It doesn't just bring healing to you, but it brings healing to the others. And yes, even those who sent that energy your way. And you may feel a certain rise in you when I say that. That may upset you, but you really have to question. If hurt people, then wouldn't you want these people to heal? And if you don't, right there, you're bumping up against your shadow. Okay, so this is the nature of Tonglen. Tonglen is a practice of transmuting the energy of what you consider the enemy or any kind of lower vibrational energy that's operating in the world. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. First, I want to kind of get a look here at what is needed for the collective to heal at this time where they are feeling like they're embroiled in a situation where they do have some pretty heavy energy coming out them, or where they do feel like somebody's doing workings on them or manipulating their energy in some way. What is needed here? To return to that place of inner peace within oneself, to return to your own sense of inner balance, tapping into your essence, recognizing that you alone hold the keys to your peace. It's all within you. And we get a little clue here with the number 9 coming in. That is that journey of the hermit. That is the ability to dive deep and to walk in your truth and to be able to shine a light on the lower nature, shine the light on the shadow aspects of the self. So when I said that this act of Tonglen can bring healing, not only for you, but even to those who wounded you. If you felt yourself reactive, or if that touched a point of resentment because you're holding a lot of anger, understand that that disruption in your peace, that is the enemy. That is the enemy's stronghold on you. It is how you've entered into energetic agreement, and it is pulling your energy down. It is lowering your frequency. It is affecting you in a negative way, which is why you can experience things like blockage on your path, which is why you can start to feel like there's no reciprocation. It's how you can start to feel like you're not being supported by the earth itself. Because we have to remember the concept of the world soul, that everything has consciousness. So if that is what you are contributing to the collective consciousness, is an attachment to resentment, an attachment to anger, and feeling like you don't want the people who harmed you to heal, even though hurt people, that's the very thing that's keeping you bound to that energy and in a karmic loop with it. It takes a certain shedding of ego to be able to recognize that. And it's not a comfortable proposition to look at that and how we play a role in this. It does require us to shine a light on the areas where we're experiencing resistance. And yet this is the very thing that returns us to a state of peace, an inner equilibrium here. It does require us to shine a light upon what is hidden under the light of the moon, what's operating within us on a subconscious level. What are those places inside that are getting activated by considering giving what we perceive as the enemy what's needed to transmute what's caused the current state of conflict? Healing. Okay? It's understanding that we have the ability to bring ourselves back into an inner state of peace, and it's not dependent on anything outside of us. Let's get some more information coming in here. What is the medicine needed? What is medicine needed? I love it. Look at this. 48, which breaks down to 12. So this is definitely looking at transmuting our blind spots, gaining freedom from viewing anything that we're facing off with as an enemy, and rather looking at it more through the lens of something has come as a teacher to me, so I can transmute what has been making me feel held back, or in some cases, even isolated. Some of you feel like you lack community, but this is a way that you can build community. So you start drawing the right sort of soulmates to you on your path, people who want to create more upliftment for the future, people that you can connect with on a very real level. See, we got a lot of Plutonian energy operating here. I really wanted to do this because we're going to be leading up to that full moon in Scorpio on the 12th, and that's a real potent initiatory gateway. We've all been moving through that energy of Pluto. We moved through the energy of Pluto in Capricorn through a good part of last year, and that was a pretty mean and heavy earth walk. And a lot of us had to go into some pretty oppressed places within ourselves to learn how to rise up again. And we're all learning how to make it through this initiatory gateway of the house of Scorpio together. But it's so we can transmute that energy collectively and come together in a new way as a community. So this is also asking yourself what role that you want to play in building community. And if you're truly wanting a transmutation of this energy, and if you don't want to operate in such a way where you have all these blind spots and these preconceived notions, and you give over so much power to what you've labeled as the enemy, that it doesn't allow you to ever break free from that cycle, because there's more investment in continuing to misunderstand the root cause of the issue and what's needed to transmute it, and not to understand it from the perspective of what needs to be done with that person, situation outside of you, but your role in it, the role that you play in building the community, the way that you hold your piece and what you contribute to the community or the collective energy as a whole. That is really the key here to getting beyond this, okay? Getting beyond hidden enemies to a case where it's no longer hidden. The true enemy has been unmasked. The true identity has been revealed. And in seeing something clearly and understanding that what is unconscious will always be the source of what doles out our fate to us, we can transcend that. We can get beyond it by bringing it into the light and looking at it. And in this case, as I'm bringing it in this evening, looking at it as a community and using it as a source of reflection and challenging one another to sort of, move more into those uncomfortable places to transcend these limitations, because the future depends on it. And there's a real important gateway we can make it through when we head up to that Scorpio full moon. And we're leading up to it right now. This week is the lead up. We open next week with that full moon. So this is a wonderful time to do this transformational work with each other. And we do it because we want to be free, right? We say we want to be free. So wouldn't you want to liberate yourself from what is making you feel tethered? And wouldn't you want them to be free of their focus on you as well? You have to understand it's a mutually binding influence. If you have somebody that's fixated on you, and all they can think about is how they want to get even with you, how they want to take you down. That's also negatively impacting that individual as well. They're not free either. Neither of you are. You're mutually oppressed. Okay. And that's the tricky part of it. But as soon as one gets free, it gives an opportunity for the other or others to get free as well. And the more that we are brave and we do this kind of work and we go into those icky places we don't want to go into, the more we transcend these kind of issues, we move further away from fear, and the house of love opens up its doors to us. All right. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right. Cut of the deck energy. Do you see? This is what's needed for revival. Little guidance from Great Spirit coming on through here. Yes, we can't expect to be free if we revere the chains that bind us. And for some of us, this has been going on generationally. And it is really time to rise above this. There's so much expansion that wants to come in on this other side of making it through the initiatory gateway of the house of Scorpio. There's so much that will come through on the other side through taking the action to transmute this energy. If you can really go into the center of what Scorpio is asking us to do, which is to allow ourselves to go fully into the initiatory gateway of death. When everything that we have come to identify with, know, understand, justify is completely burned away until we get back to that place of just our purest essence, where we can be in that state of inner peace. That's the root of no thingness, not needing to label anything, but being in such a place of complete renewal, rebirth energy, that we got a completely clean slate to work with here. We should want this, not to drag old energy forward with us that's only going to hold us back. This is the key to our freedom. It will give us a certain elevation. And this higher perspective is actually the thing that vigilantly protects us from the snares of the enemy. Coming in with that big Jupiter energy there, Mars energy, and on the other side, do you see? We got the transmutation point, Aries in Chiron. This is what allows us to create a new beginning. This is what will have us seeing a radical transformation in what we called fate that will soon become destiny, because we take it into our own hands with that Sagittarian energy there. That will come in with the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th. This is when a brand new creative cycle will begin, and we'll see the seeds of this work becoming the stuff of our dreams, the stuff of our wishes. And this will have resilience, it will have strength, and it will have rooting. And that's coming in with the number 53. This came in with the number 26, double eight, 16. You see, first there has to be a breakthrough moment, though. And with all of us collectively moving through that energy of Aries and Chiron, which is the deepest wound of the self, we have to understand this is absolutely playing a role in what is keeping us held in fear patterns in our lives, right? So in order to see the new vision of the future, we have to disrupt the frequency of fear. And there's only one way to do that, and that is to move into a space of radical love. Love is an outlaw. And I really feel that nothing drives that quote home more than Tonglen. Because Tonglen shakes up every Disney fantasy idea you've ever had about what the true essence of love is. Tonglen is a meditation. It's a meditation where you can choose the focus, and you can choose this focus on whatever level feels appropriate for you at this time. I'm going to show you first um, the sort of like beginning point, and then I'll show you the fiercest route you can go. I've been working with the fiercest route, and let me tell you, it really changes so much and it shifts so much within you. It gives you a whole clarity of vision when you work on this level, not only about the other, but also around you personally. Okay. So the first level of Tonglen is where you look at the world soul as a whole, just the energy in the world out there where there's unrest, where there's suffering, and you can enter into a meditative space. And what you do is you envision breathing in that suffering, that pain, that greed, whatever those lower vibrational energies are out there that are influencing the world soul as a whole, which when we're looking at the world soul, we're looking at the waters, we're looking at the earth, we're looking at matters of the environment, the pollution, the animals on the earth, and how they're being treated. So you can imagine there's a lot that can be stored up there that needs to be transmuted. And you take it in, you breathe it in through a visualization process, which I'm going to assist with when we do this. You breathe it in, and then you breathe out healing, you breathe out peace, you breathe out release, you breathe out freedom, and send it out to the world soul. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. Another way that you can do it is you can look at somebody that maybe has really needed some kind of healing, some kind of assistance, and you just want to lighten their load because you have a lot of caring for this person. So if you know somebody who's dealing with a really rough battle and they're trying to get through to the other side of it, that's Ted. You might have somebody like knocking on the door, you know, there could be somebody that you actually have a lot of love for that's in need of some healing at this time. You can use that person as the source of focus, and you can just envision them and ask to understand their pain, what they're carrying, what they're needing support with, what they're needing healing around, and you can breathe that in, and then you just breathe out peace, healing, wholeness, support, you know, for that individual. Don't get specific with it, okay? Just breathe in this um, burden that they're carrying and transmute the energy within yourself into just pure light, and envision them having freedom, having peace, having healing, just focusing on those qualities and allowing that energy to flow out to them. That's another way you can work with it. But I really want to work with it on a spicy level for this. And you may not feel like you're ready for that or that you want to do this at all. And if that's the case, that's totally okay. But if you're gay, man, let's go there. And I'll bring in support with Reiki as I lead you through the process. And you can certainly watch through the process, and you don't have to worry about taking on the Reiki, because in order to receive it, you have to be in energetic agreement with it. So if you're down for the ride and you're ready to go all the way there, man, do recognize that when you do Tonglen around somebody that you view an enemy, or somebody you're really angry at, or somebody that you've been in an embroiled situation with, or somebody you just completely cast off, but yet it's still corded into you. It's still having an influence because you keep recalling something. It keeps coming up for you. It's still in your space, right? that lets you know you're entangled with that energy. You're enmeshed with it. So if you want to, you can use Tonglen in that way with your opponent, with the enemy, and you can envision them and breathe in their suffering, their loss, their wounding, and you can transmute it inside yourself and send it back to them as just that pure peace, healing, grounding, support, freedom. All right? It really is true that when you release the other, even if they are the ones who were on the attack, you free yourself too. And not only that, you elevate the collective energy as a whole. So when I get to that portion of this, I'm going to go through it as if you're going to send it to the person you're having a conflict with or whoever you view as the enemy. And I mean, you certainly can consider that somebody that's in a high position of power. You can do that, okay? That's getting really radical with it, all right? And transmuting the energy in this way. Let me tell you, this can really be a game changer, okay? So we're going to do that, but I want to get like a few details here. So we already know what the medicine that's needed here, all right? We're needing to get back to that place of inner peace. We need to move into a renewal cycle and away from this energy that keeps us chained, bound to an oppressive force, which is really rooted in fear. It is. It's all rooted in fear. When we've taken on outside energy, it's because in some way we're operating out of a fear base. And there's only one way to transmute fear, and that's with love. And so this is about understanding the concept of truly unconditional love, which is something that most human beings struggle with, all right? So I wanted to get some spiritual guidance in relation to this from the angels. We're pulling out the angel tarot here. Yes, see, we have this Five of Pentacles energy on the bottom of the deck. And when we operate from a fear space where we view the other as enemy and therefore having some kind of power over us, we've already moved into a position with the Five of Pentacles where it's sort of like we lose the keys to the kingdom. We're cast out of the garden. We end up putting ourselves in a position where we're not able to experience this beautiful reciprocal flow that is meant for us to be experienced when we're in that state of equilibrium within ourselves. This process of release, it's like the angels are coming through to say, be patient if you're going to work with this with me, okay? Be patient. Be patient with yourself because you're going to bump up against resistance in yourself where you're like, I don't want to release that person from that. Okay? You will. I don't know if I want to send healing and peace to this person. All right. You may come up against those areas of resistance in yourself, and it does provide a very potent point of reflection. And that can bring up a lot in you. Also, understand that as you get free of energy, as you heal, you may experience the cleansing of emotions. You may feel energetic shifts within yourself. It can bring up a lot. It's kind of an internal purging that happens here, but it's a purification that will make all things sound. And from there, you really will transmute so much of what's been acting as a limitation for you in your life. This is one of the secrets of nature, to understand that all things work synergistically, that everything is interrelated. There is no separation. Macrocosm is reflected in microcosm, and we each hold our piece in that. It's significant and insignificant at the same time. Insignificant as in it seems like it's not much. I'm just one person. What does it matter what I do? But significant if you consider that if every person had this perspective, could look at the world through this reality tunnel, reality as we know it would completely shift. And it really is possible. So this is us coming out of the cold and coming back into the warmth of the sun. It's building the light together. And when we set one free, we get free too. So it's no loss. Yes, I love that. And the angels are bringing out the Two of Cups here, you see. It brings so much to fruition here. And it provides expansive growth, because we're operating out of a place of emotional intelligence. Once we understand this, once we shine a light on what's been operating on a subconscious level, we make it conscious, then we have a new light of understanding that we didn't have before. And it's this knowledge, this awareness, that cures what ails us. And it allows us to build upon a new foundation. It also allows us to be excellent manifestors. We can speak things into existence. It's hard to speak things into existence, though, if you speak with the tongue of the enemy. And automatically you are, if you are courted into some embroiled situation where your perspective has shifted to one of fear instead of love, where you feel like you need to get back at this person, or you need to somehow, get into this continual exchange of energy where you're fixated on what happened back there. You see how the two rings are linked together. They look like the number 8. That is the transmutation point. That is the gateway of initiation, when we get beyond your side, my side, to the way through. But the way through can't be seen until we first untangle the energy. And so there's a need to release. And if we look at it in this way, instead of looking at it as blessing up your enemy, I mean, even though that is exactly what it will do, if you instead look at it as freeing yourself of the entanglement, it might be a little bit easier to approach. But truly, it is the way that we all get through together, right? We've talked a lot about the cauldron of Dagda on this channel, and that is a collective healing energy. So it's not something that just one person can obtain. We all have to make it to that distant shore as one great pod in order to fulfill the gift of the cauldron of Dagda. If we don't fulfill the gift and the empowerment of the cauldron of Dagda, what's the point? And so this is sort of what's being called of us at this time. See, this is when we reconcile with the true path here, with the Page of Pentacles. We have to really approach this kind of work with sort of a beginner's mind here, because it really does require that we strip away so much of the programming of what we told is the way that you're supposed to deal with these kind of situations, and what we've come to view as false power in society. It's not about strong arming here. Yes, and see, the angels are saying this is why, we constantly feel like we never get to our point of arrival with the 6 of Wands in reverse, with the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, because this is the work that needs to be done, and it's being bypassed. Okay. It's being bypassed out of a sense of trying to best another, trying to be top dog. The rat race has really programmed that into us. There always is the haves and the have nots. And there's so much competition that when we're operating from that mindset, we're already operating in the realm of the enemy because we're viewing us as somehow being separate, which is the original lie. That is the deceiver. That is the deception. And that is always the thing that's going to keep us in a disempowered state because it's a state of consciousness that operates from a fear programming. It's not rooted in love. Okay. And that's not a path that has any lasting value either. You can, act out in that way. You can sort of go tit for tat. You can try to best your opponent. You may have a temporary victory, but it'll be hollow because things always come back around the bend. They always come back around the bend to be dealt with at one time or another. And that is that energy that's sort of like that return to sender you always hear about. It's if we don't make these aspects of ourselves that keep us in these embattled places conscious, then we kind of keep ourselves in this loop where we are always having to own these embattled places by having battles come at us. And until we do that work, we sort of stay stuck in that place because we're operating out of a lack of true understanding and consciousness here. So this is what's coming in from the angels around this. All right. Let me go ahead and do a cut of the deck here. Yeah, see, Eight of Swords. It's ego generated and it keeps us stuck in a prison of our own mind. We need a different perspective here. If we say we truly stand for truth and justice, then this is the kind of work to be done, not to sort of sling the same arrows that you feel your opponent is slinging towards you. There has to be a transmutation of energy. That's what brings protection from the enemies, okay? It's the ways that we deceive ourselves as far as our role that we play in that and our role in perpetuating the energy. This is what steals our fortune. This is what keeps us in a place of lack. This is what keeps us from experiencing the higher rung of the spiral, you could say. And on the other side here, we have the Page of Cups. All right. See, there is a new way forward. There is a new way to lead. And that way to lead is with heart. And it's actually really fierce. It's really fierce to go into the heart of healing something like this. It takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage, a hell of a lot more than anybody out there throwing some hex around, let me tell you. This kind of work will show you your true strength to be able to send divine comfort to the very source of what you feel has caused you pain. And there's different degrees of this too. There's different degrees of this as well. Because you look at certain atrocities that happen too. I mean, when we're really looking at healing the pain in the world, the suffering in the world, that's transmuting some pretty heavy energy if you look at how much injustice there is in the world. So you can see how even if you are doing this practice on that level, it's still a really deep practice because it requires you to understand the role you play in it and how you're interconnected with it, like it or not. We're all in energetic agreement with each other being here in this life. We are in an experience where our energy is relational. Everything is interrelated in this earthly experience. You can't you can't sort of dissect yourself from that. It's impossible. And people will say, "Oh, I have nothing to do with war." And yeah, you do. You spend money. You help to fuel the war machine, like it or not. You are part of that. We all got blood on our hands. That's the truth. So it does require a certain elevated view that can be a lot to integrate as you step into this territory of doing this kind of work. But it also brings consolation here and protection. And protection. Just not in the way you usually think of going about it. And let me tell you, when you do this kind of work, I don't care what anybody throws at you, it ain't going to touch you. It ain't going to touch you. This is when you truly master alchemy, when you're able to take that kind of energy in and not look at getting embattled with it, but transmuting it so it can transform. And again, you really have to look at that. Like if you have resistance to that, if you would rather these people not be healed, what does that say about you? Where are you really at? You've really got to look at that. It's important to understand this with the star. Now we're going to look at the impious side here. Okay? If you're still in this place where you're like, no, I need to go out and I need to make sure they pay for what they've done, be careful with that. Be careful with that. Because, you may think that that can help you get ahead. But actually, before you know it, you'll find yourself back at the bottom of the spiral of creation there, asking yourself, how did I get here? So you can, go through another round and see if you can get it right the next time here with the star, you know? It's interesting energy. All right, tell us, imps. Tell us, imps, what is within our nature that's keeping us bound? I can tell you it's that flying monkey energy. It's that desire to sort of, teach someone a lesson, hold someone hostage for what they've done, not recognizing that when we hold someone hostage for what they've done, we're basically in a position where we got a bit of Stockholm syndrome because we're holding ourselves hostage as well. We're holding ourselves hostage as well, and that just doesn't make any sense. But hey, I mean, Old Scratch is not called the trickster for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to be tricked by the devil inside, the parts of us that operate out of deception. Four of Swords. Yes, 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 this is true. You know, we come off, we want to appear like a soldier. We want to appear like we're big, bad, and tough. Oh, I can take it. Oh, yeah, you think you're going to throw that at me? Wait until you see what I throw at you. Wait until I come for you. And let me tell you, it's like, give it a rest with the Four of Swords. I mean, even the imps are like, give it a rest. Because if you don't want a battle, then why are you dressed up for one? Why are you suited for one? Why are you showing up like you're ready for a battle? You want a battle? Are you sure about that? Are you sure? We don't recognize sort of the situations we court in our lives by how we show up. All right. You want to fight, you'll find a fight, but it won't get you where you want to go. Look at that. That's right. With the Empress energy. We have to reach this place of the Empress in order to truly be in our creative power. That means we need to master the swords. We need to have clear discernment We need to be able to see things clearly, to be able to think with absolute intelligence that's informed by wisdom. We need to understand that the thoughts that we hold are things. They do carry the weight of responsibility. In fact, it's this that is so important, to be able to have that discernment between what part of you is operating, what part of you is at the wheel. It has so much to do with a sense of direction. And then you also have to be able to be master of the elemental fire, the wands, to be able to have your will invoked, informed by that discernment, informed by that clarity, and then to exert your will with a sense of purpose, a sense of passion, and to be able to be focused. You have to be able to embody the energy of the chalice, of the water, to be able to be balanced in your emotions, to be in tune with your intuition, to be able to flow, to not be fixed, and also to be able to nurture with your heart what you wish to see grow in your life. And only then, when you've brought all of these elements together, can you ground it through the root of your being by how deep you've burrowed your own roots in the ground and your ability to bend with the winds of change in your life instead of pushing up against everything that comes your way. This is what allows us to bring past, present, future into the present moment and experience a true point of empowerment where we suddenly know where the treasure is hidden. It's all within us here. And see, this is a process that can't be rushed. It takes time. And as soon as you're showing up like a soldier, you're prepared for battle. You're already in a place where you're not in that clear, focused spot of discernment. Cut of the deck, Seven of Swords. And this is what sabotages not only us, but the other from having the healing that's needed to truly liberate us. Again, it's speaking of the practice revealing hidden treasures. And where there has been theft, it will be restored. And where there is need for someone to learn a lesson, that also is dealt with, but not by your hand. You have to let that person's dharma roll out as it's meant to roll out for them. You're not meant to be the dharma dealer. You're not meant to run that show. You're here to come to a place of your own soul's fulfillment with the 10 of Cups here. And with this, we know that a tower is coming. Something is going to come our way. It's going to cause thunder and great storms. It will be an awakening moment, a breakthrough moment, but it is that very thing that is going to give us access to divine secrets. Very interesting here. Okay. See? Even the imps are saying, not the way to go, man. Let's get an overarching theme. Let's get an overarching theme. You know, you don't want to be tied to somebody else's lesson too, right? Bottom of the deck. Yes, hearth. Happiness in our hearts and homes. Okay. The true protection by making what's been sort of cloaked, hidden within our blind spots, in our subconscious, swept under the rug, our own shadow inside that keeps us in these places of being at war with others, or viewing the other as an enemy, or being distracted by what that person is doing, has done, ruminating on it. This allows us to shine a light on all that, and that ends up being the source of our protection, not only for our homes, what we hold dear to us, but also within ourselves, in our own hearts. And I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that it's okay for some of the things that have been done to you, to be justified in any way. I'm not saying that it's acceptable that you experienced any of these things either, but I merely want to point out how, when there's so much focus on it and holding on to those places of wounding, the way that you're actually really harming yourself and holding yourself back. And it's time to be free of that influence. All right, let's go ahead and just get an overarching theme here, a focal point. If you're going to be brave and do this work, let's get an overarching theme here. If you are brave and you're willing to do this work, where should the focus be? Where should the focus be? I'm going to just do a cut of the deck on this, okay? Well, this wanted to jump out. Maybe that's it. Okay, I guess that's it. I'm not going to, it just jumped out of the deck. Seeing the true you comes in with number 29. Yes, a source of reflection. Look at that off in the distance there. There's a little saucer there. Yeah, something that has caught your attention. Really, it's just a storm in a teacup. Once you really see the reflection of who you are by truly reflecting on the source, you'll understand this. And this is what will bring you into alignment with the number 29 here. It will also bring some justice, a balancing point. So this is about having the strength to understand, though you may have been reactive in the past, and though you may have acted in ways that you would do differently now, or even if you have had a hard time letting go of resentment or anger, or maybe you're still really embattled with someone or in conflict with someone, that you do have the strength to come into this state of empowerment and balance within yourself and get yourself free of this energy. You do have the strength to overcome what you weren't able to in the past. You can transmute that energy and you can totally radically shift your reality. And I'm telling you right now, if you are willing to jump into this with me, meet me on the other side of this. Say yes to the experience and prepare to feel what it's like to be truly impenetrable as the diamond. I'm now going to lead you through a Tonglen meditation. And as I do, I'm going to bring in some Reiki. And this Reiki is aligned with all timelines, past, present, and future, to bring healing, release, transformation, and alignment with your true path of purpose. It's also to release you from the bondage of fear and have you fully step in to the liberation of love within you and all things, to be able to witness all the ways that you are so abundantly supported by Great Spirit. Father Sky, Mother Earth, all rooted through you, so that you can come to the true recognition that all you see is all there is. And now, with great clarity of vision, the road will rise up to meet you, and the wind will always be at your back as you find your feet planted firmly upon the beauty path. With beauty before me, I walk. With beauty behind me, I walk. With beauty above me, I walk. With beauty all around me, I walk. It has become beauty again. It has become beauty again. It has become beauty again. If you do not wish to receive the Reiki, you won't take any of it in unless you're in energetic agreement. So if you do wish to receive the support of the Reiki, simply affirm to yourself, yes, I receive now. You can still do the Tonglen meditation without the Reiki, but the Reiki will also support you in your healing process and will hold the energy as a whole to be transmuted in a way that will really raise the frequency to a higher level and just promote more ease and grace in moving through that process, okay? But whatever you're comfortable with, that's really important to me. I'm going to start to lead you through this process so we can get you in the right space to do this work as I'm bringing in the Reiki, okay? So first, I want you to just really become present in this space. Anything that was going on before you came here, just let it completely fall away from you. As you take some nice deep breaths all the way down to your lower belly. Feeling that expansion and slowly letting the breath out. Take a few deep breaths like this. Maybe next time carrying the air up to your diaphragm, right at the place where your rib cage meets on the front of your body. Feeling those ribs gently expand out to the sides and all the way out. And then finally breathing all the way down into the lower belly, letting that rise all the way up to the solar plexus. Let the ribs gently expand and then all the way into your heart center, and just see if you can feel the sensation of your collarbones spreading open there, just getting a little expansion, and then release. Go ahead and close your eyes. And breathe into the center of your body. And envision there a sun. And let that sun start to grow. Suilo, suilo, suilo. Surrounding your body. Permeating through every cell, every pore of your skin. See this sunlight peering through until the energy is completely surrounded your entire body, and you're held within the center of this solar bubble. I'm just going to clear out any heavy energy that may be in your auric field there, just so you can get in touch with your purest essence. And maybe close your eyes if you haven't already. It can help you visualize a little bit better. Bringing in visualization can really root the work. It's very supportive for the process. It'll also let you just move into that space of receiving so you can really take in the energy of the Reiki being sent your way for support and healing and transformation. It'll allow you to get really in touch with your inner landscape too, which is important for doing this kind of work. Now that you're surrounded by this solar energy, by the heart of Suilo, see if you can focus on the tip of your tailbone. Just put your awareness there. And see the tip of your tailbone start to grow roots. And I want you to send those roots down into the earth beneath you and let them travel down through all the different layers of soil. See those earthworms aerating the soil, providing rich nutrients for new things to grow, and the thick adobe clay-like layers and the rocky layers of the earth and the watery, unctuous layers of the earth and the oily, rich layers of the earth. And let's just bring in some real grounding energy. See those roots go through some layers of obsidian. And see those roots pass through a layer of clear quartz. And see those roots pass through a layer of turquoise. And then see those roots pass through a layer of garnet. And finally, see those roots pass through a layer of gold. And continue to drive those roots down, down, down. And the deeper they go, the more you sense heat rising up through your roots. You feel the heat growing in that solar bubble that you're surrounded by. And continue to drive those roots down through the deepest, darkest layers of the earth, down through all the iron layers of the core of the earth until the roots plunge into that magma, that fiery cauldron. It's at the core of the earth. And now pull up that energy from the core of the earth all the way up through your roots, all the way up, all the way up through all those layers of earth into your tailbone, and feel that energy flood all the way up your spine, filling all your chakra centers, filling the root chakra, Muladhara, filling your sacral chakra, Svadhisthana, your solar plexus chakra, Manipura, your heart chakra, Anahata, your throat chakra, Vishuddha, your third eye chakra, Ajna, to your crown, Sahasrara, and just allow that energy to pour out of the crown and over you like a warm honey flow, like a warm honey flow. And as that energy washes over you in a warm honey flow, when it meets the ground, see beautiful flowers start to break up through the ground within your solar bubble. Just see the flowers that come through for you. Take note of them. They may be special medicines that want to come in and work with you. You can work with their flower essences, or you can even bring bouquets of them indoors or grow them, or maybe bring them into your future meditations. And again, just take a few deep breaths in this space. And notice how you feel. Notice how different you feel, how different your energy feels right now, now that you connected with the earth. Now, I want you to call to mind somebody that you're experiencing challenge with. This can be somebody that you feel hurt by, somebody you're angry at, somebody that you can't seem to release from your energy, somebody that continues to hold space in your consciousness and is a reminder of difficult experiences or loss that you went through. Painful time in your life that you want to release and let go. And let this person come into the forefront of your consciousness right now. See them in front of you. See them seated in front of you. And just notice, don't get attached to what you're feeling. Just notice what emotions come up for you. Notice what sensations you feel in your body around this person. And notice where in your body those sensations are coming from. Take a mental note of it. We'll work with this a little bit. Now, ask this person to show you their pain, their suffering, their sense of loss, their wounding, what they feel oppressed by. And as they reveal it to you, envision it as a black cloud of energy that starts to gather within them and begins to seep out of their pores. until it is like a dark cloud of energy between the two of you. When you feel ready, start to breathe in that energy of that dark cloud. Breathe it into your body with the intention that you are going to transmute the energy to peace, healing, release, growth, support, transformation, and divine intervention. And as you do so, notice this dark cloud of energy in you start to transform into pure white light. And let this pure white light start to fill your body. Fill your body with this bright white light until all you can see is this bright white light of peace, healing, integration, release, freedom, liberation, harmony, clarity, purity, the true soul's essence, free of all fear and distortion, the true soul's essence. And allow this white light now to start to shine out of every one of your pores. Shine out toward that person in front of you and fill them with this white light all around them. Just stay focused. No attachment to the story, just sending the energy out, transformed, transmuted. So it's not just shining within that one individual that is seated before you, but see it also surrounding them, spreading out from them, spreading out across time and space in all directions, all over the world. all around you until all you see is this bright white light of harmony, unity, peace, release, transformation. One note of ecstasis rippling through existence. One note that is your and more. The song of creation. And know that the singer of creation has been activated in you, through all, to harmonize all that separates us in fear and aligning us with our true soul's essence. And it is so. I want you to recall where you felt that energy in your body when you first encountered that person that was sitting across from you. Take your awareness to that place now and see how your inner landscape has shifted. And then you'll understand the power of the key that you just found. Blessings.